Welcome back to OT Sports. Today we got our 2024 NBA playoff predictions. Very exciting video. We're going to go through every single matchup, play in and playoff. Real quick though, before we get started, make sure you go down there, subscribe. If you're new, we do college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB. So if you're interested in any of that, go down there, subscribe, turn on the noties. Like the video if you enjoyed. As always, Discord X linked in the description. Join that, follow that. With all that being said though, let's get right into this playoff bracket. So we got a nice little bracket here. The far left brackets and the far right are the play-in. And we're going to start right in the bottom left corner with the West play-in game. We got the 7 versus 8 game. And it's going to be the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion and Brandon Ingram, taking on Anthony Davis and LeBron James. An Anthony Davis revenge game, a Brandon Ingram revenge game. Two very good storylines here. The Pelicans were pretty much, considered to be the likely 6th seed in the West. They did end up losing. The Suns ended up winning, so the Pelicans did fall to the 7th seed. And honestly, it's not looking great that they're here. You obviously want to be one of the top 6 teams, but they did end up unfortunately falling to that 7th seed. So they're going to have to play a very tough team here in the Los Angeles Lakers. And I mean, the Lakers never a fun team to play against with LeBron and the playoff experience. They're kind of just middle of the road, both offensively and defensively. The Pelicans are much more defensive heavy, but they're also very solid offensively. The numbers probably point to the Pelicans winning this one. They're also at home, but I am going to go ahead and take LeBron James and the Lakers to get that 7th seed. I don't know. I just think I trust them in the playoffs more. Zion and Brandon Ingram together, I believe on court they're a box minus or a plus minus negative. So that's not great. But they have both been playing pretty solid. CJ McCollum's had a nice year, but I don't know. I just think D'Angelo Russell has a nice game. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. I think both these teams very deep, but I think the Lakers get it done just because of the playoff experience there. But the Pelicans are going to be sent to that winner-go-home game for the 8th seed. Now looking at the 9-10 game in the West, the Kings taking on the Warriors, and this is another very intriguing matchup. We saw these two teams play last year in the first round as the 3 and 6 seed. The Warriors as the 6 seed did end up taking it in 7 games. That was probably the best series we got in the first round last year. And now we get it again in a winner-go-home game. It's going to be in Sacramento. That's a huge advantage. Those Kings fans are some of the best in the league. That home court advantage is one of the best in the league as well. And the Warriors, man, what a fall off they've had. I mean, Andrew Wiggins not been the same at all. Klay Thompson coming off the bench has been okay, serviceable, but you want to see more from him. Curry's doing a lot of the heavy lifting for this team. Draymond Green's been in and out of the lineup this whole season. Honestly, a very disappointing season for the Warriors. The Kings, however, I want to say disappointing because they went from the 3 seed to the 9 seed, but when you look at their record, they only they won 2 less games this season than they did last season, and they ended up falling down 6 seeds from last season, which is pretty crazy. I still find it crazy that Domantas Sabonis wasn't an All-Star this season. I think he got snubbed there. He has the double-double streak, the record, I believe. De'Aaron Fox is one of the most crafty players in the league. He's a very fun watch. This is going to be a tough game. I did go with the Lakers because of their playoff experience, and I want to do that for the Warriors, but I think the Lakers in that game, I think they match up nice with them. Anthony Davis, Zion, Brandon Ingram, LeBron. For this Warriors team, the Kings have got a lot of guys that can take turns guarding Curry and not get worn out. I think they're very well coached. It's going to be at home. I just think the Kings are the more complete team. I think they officially put an end to this Warriors dynasty, and I think we probably will end up seeing some changes this offseason in Golden State. I think the Kings get their revenge from last year. I think they get it done. But that sets up a winner-go-home game for the 8 seed. The 7 seed taking on the 9 seed, the Pelicans taking on the Kings, and Sabonis is going to have a tough time down there with Valanciunas, Zion, Brandon Ingram, is gonna, he's gonna drive in there. He's gonna give him some work. De'Aaron Fox. This could be a big De'Aaron Fox game. Um, but I think the Pelicans are a little bit more complete when looking at their numbers. They are just outside the top 10 in offense in the league. They're just outside the top 5 in defense. That's very good. The Kings, they're a good team, but this one's going to be in New Orleans, so kind of a tough little travel there. I don't know. I gotta go with the Pelicans. They just edge them out in both offense and defense. De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis versus Zion and Brandon Ingram, two very good duos taking it on, but I am going to go with the Pelicans. Now looking at the East plan, the 7-seeded 76ers taking on the 8-seeded Heat, and both these teams I think are very scary if you're the Celtics or the Knicks to play, because both these teams I believe have a potential to win whatever team they end up playing against. Now in this matchup, I do like the 76ers. With Embiid, they're still 8-0 since he's returned. I'm going to go ahead and take the 76ers to get that 7 seed. I think Embiid takes care of Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo could give him some troubles. He's a very good defensive player. Jimmy Butler's obviously scary, but Tyrese Maxey's been so good this season. I think they just narrowly edge this one. I think that would be a great, very low-scoring defensive game, but I am going to go with the 76ers and Embiid. Now for this 9 versus 10 game, I will be going to this game. It's in Chicago. I am a Bulls fan, so I'm very excited about that. And I'm going to pick the Bulls. Maybe it's biased. I don't know. I feel like they're better than the Hawks, though. I feel like they have enough to win this game. It's going to be at home. That's a huge advantage. Both these teams not really. The Bulls are a little bit more well-rounded. The Hawks lean a little bit more offensive. I'm going to take the more well-rounded team. I think the Bulls, both these teams are solidly coached. I wouldn't say, extraordinary or anything. DeRozan, Vucevic, Kobe White, Caruso, taking on Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. If the Hawks shoot well in this game, if they get hot from 3, they're going to be tough to beat. They have one of the most explosive and dynamic offenses in the league. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Bulls. I think they have enough firepower here. They get it done. But that sets up a rematch of last year's final play-in game for the 8 seed. The Bulls taking on the Heat again. And I think it's the same outcome. I think the Heat have enough to win this one. Ultimately, I just think they're the better team. Defensively, they're one of the best in the league. I think Bam Adebayo is definitely going to give Vucevic some problems there. Offensively, the Heat do struggle a little bit, but they're, kind of in the same region as the Bulls when it comes to offensive rating. I'm going to go ahead and take the Heat there. I think they're much better coached. So now we got the 16 teams in both the 8 teams in both conferences, 16 teams in total. Let's take a look at these first round matchups. So we got the 1-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the 8-seeded Pelicans, and I just want to say props to the Thunder for getting here. I had them finishing, I think, at the 11 seed in my preseason predictions. Shame on me. I was not expecting this. I've always been a huge SGA fan, but definitely not expecting a 1 seed. And with the amount of picks and young talent they have, they're probably going to be sitting at these top 3 seeds in the Western Conference for at least the next 5 years. I mean, they are ridiculous. SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. But they're going to go up against Brandon Ingram and Zion. And I think that actually is a pretty tough matchup for them. Both these teams are very good analytically. The Thunder 2 spots higher than the Pelicans in defense. And the Thunder 8 spots higher in offense. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Thunder. I know they're a young team. I'll take the Thunder in 6. And the reason why is they've just been so good this season. I mean, they've been near the top of the Western Conference the entire year. The Pelicans kind of been sitting around that 6 seed range, 7 seed for most of the season. And yeah, I just think the Thunder are more complete. I think when it comes down to it, they're better defensively and they're better offensively. I think they're very well coached. I'm going to take the Thunder in 6. Now looking at this 4-5 game, this one's really tripping me up. We've seen this for the past couple NBA Playoff Watch episodes. and I've picked the same team every time. I will say though, I've had the Clippers in the NBA Finals at certain points in this year. I've had the Mavericks as far as the conference finals in some videos. Right now though, these were kind of my two sleeper teams in the West. They're playing up against each other in the first round. The Clippers will have the home court advantage, which I think is huge. It's going to be Luka, Kyrie taking on Kawhi, PG, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Norman Powell, Zubac. It's going to be a great matchup. I think Luka will definitely show out. This is the third time in the last 4 years I think these two teams have played in the first round, which is interesting. I believe the Clippers have won both times, if I'm not mistaken. And I do think they're going to win again. I'll say in 7. I just think they're more well-rounded. I think defensively they're a lot better. The Mavericks are a very good defensive team this year. Don't get me wrong. They've actually had a kind of a surprisingly good defense with Luka and Kyrie, which not expecting that at all. But I think the Clippers, I don't know. I just think they're more well-rounded, more complete. I think they're deeper than the Mavericks. I think they're better coached. This one's, it's pretty tough looking at it both ways. I just think the Clippers are deeper. They have one of the best offenses in the league as well. I'm going to go ahead and take the Clippers, but this one could definitely go either way. 3-seeded Timberwolves taking on the 6-seeded Suns. Now this one could also go either way, but I'm going to go ahead and take the higher seed once again. I just think defensively, they're just by far the best defensive team in the playoffs and in the league. The Suns, honestly, a very disappointing season for them. KD and Devin Booker really haven't been healthy too much this season. They are healthy now, but I think the Timberwolves are just a little bit more well-rounded. Now, they do struggle on offense sometimes, which I think that does worry me a little bit in this series. I'm going to take the Timberwolves in 6, just because I'll take them in 7. I think Anthony Edwards has a very good series. I think Rudy Gobert gives, I don't think they'll be able to do much there in, driving and finishing-wise. They also got Naz Reid. They got Jaden McDaniels. I think he's one of the best defenders in the league. I think he could definitely lock down Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, or Kevin Durant, or whoever he needs to. Anthony Edwards is a very good defender as well. I'm going to take the Timberwolves, but I don't feel great about it. And now down here, Nuggets versus Lakers, a Western Conference Finals rematch from last year. I'm going to take the same outcome. I'm going to take the Nuggets. I don't really feel too strongly about the Lakers here. I'll say they can win. I'll say the Nuggets in 6 just because it's the Lakers. Maybe that's Lakers bias. I don't know. I just don't see the Nuggets losing here. I think Jokic has a great series. I don't think Anthony Davis can really. He's definitely one of the best defenders in the league, but even with that, I don't think he can really stop Jokic there. Celtics Heat, a rematch from the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and I'm going to go ahead and take the different outcome this time. I'm going to take the Celtics. I think they win this one. I'll say in 6, though, the Heat are always a tough out in the playoffs just because how well coached they are and how defensively sound they are. But I'm going to take the Celtics. They're a little bit more well-rounded. They've been the best team in this league all year. I don't see them losing in the first round. Give me Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and all of them. Now the 4-seeded Cavs taking on the 5-seeded Magic, and this is kind of an under-the-radar, very good series. I feel like nobody's talking about this series. This series is going to be amazing. You got Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs taking on one of the best defenses in the league and one of the youngest teams in the league in the Magic. Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter. They just got such a loaded young core there. And the Cavs, they got to get it done in the playoffs. Prove to Donovan Mitchell that he can stay, because I've seen a lot of rumors that he might be interested in looking for a trade just because of the lack of playoff success here in Cleveland. It's going to be close here. It's going to be a close series. I like that the Magic are a lot more defensively oriented than offensively, because I feel like if you're a young team, it's better to be more defensive in the playoffs than offense. I think that goes for any team, but specifically young teams. I do really like that. The Cavs are going to have the home court advantage. I think they're a little bit more well experienced, and I think they get it done. But I will say in 7, it's going to be a great series. Bucks Pacers. This is going to be a fun one. I think I'm going to trust the Bucks, but the Pacers have won 3 of the 4 meetings in the regular season. They got a little bit of beef over there. The Bucks will have home court. They have been struggling recently. They're kind of limping into the playoffs. We don't know if Giannis will play, and I'm assuming he does. But that calf strain could be a serious injury. That tends to lead to a lot of Achilles problems. Now, I'm not saying, I'm praying for him. I hope nothing happens. Nothing bad happens, obviously, because that would be just terrible. But doctors do typically say it starts in the calf, so that is a little bit worrisome. The problem is, though, if you wait and don't play him in the playoffs, you're risking a back-to-back first-round exits, and then he could just eventually re-injure it in next season, and then there goes next season. But then if you risk it and you do play him for this playoffs, it could go amazing. You could make the Eastern Conference. You could make the NBA Finals. You could win it all just because of how talented this team is. But there is some risk to that. Maybe he injures it even more, and he's out for the entirety of next season. You gotta weigh your options here. If you're the Bucks, now I do think he will play. Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner have been amazing this season. They have one of the best offenses in the league, but I think the Bucks are a little bit better. They're a little bit more playoff ready. This is Tyrese Halliburton's first playoff taste of the playoffs, so we'll see how he does there. But I'm going to go ahead and trust the Bucks. I'll say in 6, though. I think they have a lot of tension there between these two teams. I think the Bucks come out on top. I just think they're the better team. Now this series has really thrown me through a loop here. The 2-seeded Knicks taking on the 76ers. Now, it's honestly a crime that the 76ers are the 7th seed because, in my opinion, they are probably either the 3rd or 4th best team in the East. And the reason I say 3rd or 4th is I think the Celtics are the best team. I think the Bucks are probably the 2nd best team. 3rd or 4th right now is between the Knicks and the 76ers, with Embiid healthy, obviously. So that's why the series is so tough for me, because I feel like these are 2 of the 4 best teams in the East, and I feel like both these teams deserve to be in the second round. But only one of them can. Now the Knicks are going to have it at home, Madison Square Garden. That's a huge advantage. But with no Julius Randle in this series, Joel Embiid, he's going to give Mitchell Robinson's not going to be enough to stop him down there. And, it's Tyrese Maxey's going to have a great series. I'd love to see. I mean, Jalen Brunson's been the best point guard in the East this season. He's been amazing. He might make All-NBA first team. That's how good he's been. He's amazing, but he's carried them without Julius Randle. Can he continue that and through the playoffs? I think he can. But is it going to be enough to beat Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey? I've picked no upsets. Pick no upsets in the first round. There's always at least one. I'm going to go ahead and take the 76ers here. I know it's a little bit wild, but I got to do it. I got to go with one upset, and it could be the Mavericks. The Mavericks could beat the Clippers. It could be the Suns. The Suns could definitely win. Could be the Magic. You never know. Could be the Pacers if Giannis doesn't play. The Lakers are always there. The Heat are always sneaky. It could be any of these series. That's why I think all these series at least go 6 games. That's how good I think this playoffs is going to be. I think this playoffs is shaping up to be one of the best of all time. I'm going to take the 76ers in 7 though. I just think they're better. I think they come out on top. The Knicks, very good defensively, but the 76ers are very close by. Offensively, the Knicks edge them out a little bit, but like I said, I just don't see who's stopping Joel Embiid down there. And with Joel Embiid, they've won 8 straight, so I'm going with Philly to the second round. But now looking back at the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the LA Clippers. Now, if there was any team I think the Clippers, out of the top three seeds, I think the Clippers would have the best chance with. I think it would be the Thunder team, and I'll tell you why. They're one of the better defensive teams. The Clippers are one of the best offensive teams in the league. So there's kind of a little matchup there. The Clippers are also very good defensively, but the Thunder also very good offensively. So even right now, but when you look at the team and their age, now I know I always say this for the Thunder, but they are just so young, so inexperienced. When you're going up against guys like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, those guys have been there, done that. The Thunder, this Thunder team, some of them are rookies, some of them, many of them are second-year players. I mean, they made the play-in last season as the 10 seed. They lost, in the first play-in game. It's tough, but I think it's the Clippers here. I really do. I think, the Thunder is such a good team, offensively and defensively, but when it comes playoff time, I trust the Clippers guys a little bit more. I trust their coach a little bit more. I just think they're more experienced. And experience in the playoffs is so important. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Clippers to beat the Thunder. But this could go out of, this could definitely get all messed up here because the Mavericks, they could beat the Clippers first round. You never know. I'm going to take the Clippers in 7. I just don't think the Thunder have enough, unfortunately, because I do love SGA and, Jalen Williams, Chet, all of them. But I do think the Clippers come out on top. Now the 3 seed taking on the 2 seed. We got the Denver Nuggets hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this one is a little bit less tough for me. I'm going to go ahead and take the Nuggets. I do really like the Timberwolves defense, but I think ultimately when push comes to shove, the Nuggets top 5 in offense, top 10 in defense. The Timberwolves number 1 in defense, but offensively they do struggle. They're on the bottom half of the league, below league average offensively. Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Cat, they've been very good this season, but I've always said the Nuggets are probably my pick to come out of the West. They've just proved to me that they can do it. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, all of them. I trust them a little bit more, and they're going to have home court. And, if they have home court all the way through the West, like I said, it's going to be tough to beat them because they play in probably the hardest stadium to play in all of the leagues. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Nuggets to the Western Conference Finals, I'll say in 6. Now looking at the East, the Celtics taking on the Cavs. And I've seen this matchup a lot in NBA playoff watch, and I'm going to stick with the same answer. I'm going to take the Celtics, and I'm going to say it in the same amount of games. I always say, take the Celtics in 5. I just think matchup-wise, they just outmatch them here on every level. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, they're going to give Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell some problems. Drew Holiday's probably going to take Donovan Mitchell. Defensively, they're so good. They shoot the 3 well. They're so good offensively. They are one of the deeper teams. They're one of the best coach teams. It's hard to beat the Celtics team. That's why they have the best record in the league. That's why they're number 1 in offense and number 2 in defense. That's why they have the best net rating by almost 4.5 points. It's ridiculous. The Celtics team, net rating wise, is the 3rd highest ranked team in all of basketball history. Gonna take the Celtics in 5 there. Now looking at the 7 seed, a little bit of a Cinderella, but not really, because Embiid. We've seen them make it far in the playoffs. We're getting a little bit of a similar matchup here. They're taking on Giannis. I feel like the Bucks and Sixers have played a lot in the playoffs recently. Gonna take the Bucks. I don't see a 7 seed making the Eastern Conference Finals. It could happen. It very well could. We saw it last year with the Lakers. The Lakers did it last year. But I'm gonna take the Bucks. I just trust them a little bit more. I trust Giannis a little bit more than Embiid. That's really the kicker there. I don't trust them coach Doc Rivers really. But Tyrese Maxey, we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet being the number 2 option, so we'll see how he looks there. Hopefully he doesn't implode or anything like that. I think the Bucks are a little bit more deep. I think they are a little bit more sound defensively. Giannis, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton usually turns it on come playoff time. and obviously Damian Lillard is one of the clutchest players in the league. So give me the Bucks. I'll say in 7. They're gonna have home court advantage. Give me the Bucks to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now that sets up a 4 seed versus the 2 seed in the West. The Clippers taking on the Nuggets. I'm going to keep it short and simple. I think the Nuggets are just the best team in the West. I've said this for a couple of months now. Like I said, I've picked the Clippers over the Nuggets before. I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to take Jokic, Jamal Murray, and all of them to the NBA Finals. I'll say in 6. I think Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, very scary to play in the playoffs. But can they get past Denver? I don't think so. I think they make it to the NBA Finals and give themselves an opportunity to go back to back here. We haven't seen that in a while since the Warriors did it in 2017-18, so it's been a couple of years. Now we move to the East. We got a 1 versus 3. 1 versus 3 in the East, 2 versus 4 in the West. Like how that worked out there. But this is kind of what I've had in the East. These two teams, I've kind of had this for a while now in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think these are the 2 best teams in the East, but ultimately I trust the Celtics more. I just think they're better. I really do. I don't trust the Doc Rivers coaching experiment. I'm pretty sure they're like 500 since hiring him. They've been struggling recently, so having them going this far it feels wrong. And it feels wrong to take the 76ers over the Knicks. The Knicks could be here. The 76ers could be here. I don't know. I'm trusting the Bucks to get to this point, but can I trust them to get to the NBA Finals? I don't think so. Like I said, the Celtics are the 3rd highest net rating in the history of basketball this year. This team is amazing. I'll take them to the NBA Finals, and that sets up a familiar NBA Finals matchup. I've had this for the last couple months now in my NBA Playoff Watch episodes. Check those out if you haven't. Been referencing those a lot. My apologies for that. But this is kind of what I've figured would happen for the last couple months now. Celtics versus Nuggets, and this would be a great series. You got Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Al Horford, all of them taking on Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. It would be a great matchup. 2 teams I feel like I can trust to get to this point. Like I said, I've had this for the past couple months now. And this one did make me think. I've had this. I'm not going to say which team I've picked every single time because it has been the same team for pretty much the entire season. And this series did make me really think a lot because I felt confident, but recently I've seen a lot of people saying that the Celtics won't win it all just because they can't trust them. And I feel like I can trust the Nuggets a lot. I feel like they have a really good chance of going back to back. I'm back and forth on this one, but I've said it all year, and I'm going to stick with my pick. Except for my preseason video, which I had the Bucks winning it all, I believe, over the Nuggets. I'm taking the Celtics, and the reason why, they defend well. Like I said, they're second, I believe second in defense, first in offense. First in net rating by a long shot. It's not even close. Their net rating is 11.7. The Nuggets 5.5. The Celtics are first, and the Nuggets are fourth, by the way. So it's not like a huge difference. The Celtics have just been that good of a team this year. There's a reason they've won whatever it was, 65 games, or 64 and 18. The Nuggets won 7 less games than them. I think the Celtics are better offensively and defensively. Now, Jokic is a problem for them. I'm interested to see how they handle that, because Jokic will go out there, and I think this would go all 7 games. But I've been saying this all year. I think the Celtics are the best team, and if there's any year for them to do it, it's got to be this year. They've come short year after year after year. Last year they lost in Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The year before that they lost in 6 games in the NBA Championship. I believe the year before that, that was 2021. Who was in the NBA Finals in 2021? That was Bucks. Yeah, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals that year. And then the year before that, they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, they've come up short and short year after year after year. If there's any year for them to do it, it's this year, and I think they get it done. I'll take the Celtics as my NBA champions in 7 games over the Denver Nuggets. But yeah, that's going to do it for the NBA playoff predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you leave a like, go down there, subscribe if you're new. Like I said earlier, we do college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB. So check that out check those videos out if you haven't already. Later this week, we're going to do all of our NBA awards. So we're going to do MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Six-Man Coach, all of that, Clutch Player, and also our NBA first team, second team, third team, and defensive team. So check that out in a couple days. Whenever that drops, we'll make sure to let you guys know on the Twitter or X. That's linked in the description, as well as my Discord. Join that. And yeah, with all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys around. Thank you for watching.